Cool. So we are recording the session. As usual, I haven't deleted much of our analysis from last week because maybe it's gonna be a nice refresher to just see what we spoke about last week, and then obviously just see what happened from last week. I'm just deleting all of these alerts. Excuse me. Cool. Awesome. So we're going to start off with AUDCAD. So AUDCAD last week, we were bullish on AUDCAD. So we'll just delete whatever's not relevant for this week's analysis. And then obviously we'll speak about last week and then update you guys on this week's directional bias, which direction we're looking to trade and where we're looking to find those trading opportunities, because that's all we need for a forecast. When and how market is going to present those entries to us, no one knows. So we leave that open to be reactive to whatever the market does when we're trading. So otherwise, overall high time frame structure on the daily, we've got momentum, we've got a corrective structure as usual. We're still, I guess, somewhere towards the support of this corrective structure. So naturally, still maybe we want to be more bullish than we want to be bearish. So just coming to the most recent daily structure over here. Let's just do this just so I can move my charts. So last week, just to speak about last week a little bit quickly. Okay, we'll do that on the 4 hour. Let's just stick to the structure here. So one important thing that I want us to do, we're gonna go back on the lower time frames. Just ignore all of the stuff that you see here on a lower time frame, because we're going to go. We're gonna go on a lower time frame and just delete all of this stuff. But I want to leave it there just so that we can reference last week's stuff for now. But for right now, while we're speaking about what we're gonna do next week and the current analysis, just ignore all of this smaller time frame structures. So anyway, higher time frame on a daily, what we have that's important to us as nice for us to make decisions of. We've got price action coming down, giving us a nice low. We've got a new lower high, and then we've got the next lower low. Obviously, this low was the low that had broken this previous level of structure. So now we've got a level of structure that price action has broken below, and obviously now we've broken back above. And at a future date in time, we can come back to retest this level of structure. So now I know that my update for what I'm going to be doing next week is I'm going to be focusing on this level of structure as a potential retest, because obviously on a daily, if I just come here, I can see that there's two bullish candlesticks that have just broken structure now. And obviously price is in the middle of momentum. We are in the middle of some sort of an impulse on a smaller time frame. After every impulse, we're waiting for the corrective structure to obviously involve ourselves in the trading opportunity. So let's go down onto a 4 hour and then just speak about last week's stuff, just so that we can see what changed. What happened? Anyway, so last week we had this expanding descending structure. We obviously broke to the upside. We can delete this because it's no longer relevant for our decision-making process. We had a continuation. We had momentum out of this continuation structure. Fair enough. All we were focusing on last week, or what we used to make our decision, was we paid attention to the fact that we do have this bullish momentum over here. Then obviously we've got some sort of a corrective structure. So naturally, so we were looking for our probabilities at the third touch of our structure, My mistake, my fault. Yes, there was an area of momentum over here, obviously, that we were using as our level of structure. Maybe we can say this in hindsight, maybe we should have looked at this level of structure over here and then considered that maybe on a 1 hour, okay, cool, maybe price was decent. Even on a 1 hour, I was still expecting that, okay, maybe momentum is going to come down and maybe give me a third touch. That third touch will still bring me a little bit closer to this support here. And then that would have been a little bit of a better trading opportunity. But obviously, market had its own agenda. Yeah, is what it is. Maybe in hindsight, we can say that maybe we should have been a little bit attentive to this area over here. But anyway, can't cry over spilled milk. It is what it is. Let's just go back and follow through. So now that we have all of this momentum, the nice buy that we were looking for down low came before we could involve ourselves in the trading opportunity. All I'm going to do is on my 4 hour, I'm going to look for sources of momentum. So obviously, where do I see bullish engulfings? The biggest, nicest, most sexiest bullish engulfing that I do see is this one over here. So this functions as a nice area, a nice point of interest, because I can see clearly if buyers came in anywhere, buyers came in from here. There's a nice big bullish engulfing, nice momentum shift. So that's naturally where I want to trade. Another area, obviously, that we can see bullish engulfing that had broken this structure. So another area where buyers came in just before we broke a level of structure was this bullish engulfing here. Do I want to trade or look for risk entries inside of this area? No. Why? Because one of the things that we look for is, if you guys know, my entry criteria is I look for 5 things. It's a nice, simple song. 1, market must create a level of structure, which is either this or this. Number 2, market must move away from my level of structure. Market has moved way far from this level of structure than it has from this level of structure. So obviously my second criteria has not really been met in this case. So obviously after number 2, price moving away from a level of structure, 3, price must come back to a level of structure. 4, price must show me rejections at that level of structure. And number 5, my trigger to enter my trade is if I see after my rejection, do I see momentum shift away from my level of structure? And that's my trigger to enter the trade. Otherwise, let's not go too deep. We're not here for that. We're just here for next week. Next week. So basically, all I'm saying is that in next week, what we have here is we've got an extreme high. Remember we spoke about, or at least let's just look at the 4-hour structure. We've got some momentum that came in from this level, from this area here, obviously that gave us this most recent push to the downside. So let's look at this resistance area here, understand that, okay, cool, price is coming towards some sort of an extreme high. The closer I get to this high, the less I want to be a buyer, and the more I want to be a seller. Obviously, I have 2 points of interest that are in this area here, that obviously the closer price action gets to these areas here, the more I want to be a buyer. This area, what I want to see for me to be able to trade this area is, you guys can see this small consolidation here. There's like this small area of chop that happened. Inside of this small area of chop, let me just delete this stuff here just so that we can be a little bit clear. Inside of all of this chop, obviously we've got a high, some sort of a high. What I want to see is at least let price action break this high. And if we do break this high, by the time we're looking at price action on Monday, then we can look for a retest to trade at this POI. If price action does not break this high and decides to just pull down without breaking this high, then there's no way in heaven that I'm going to trade at this POI. I'll exercise my patience and wait to see if there's going to be some sort of a larger structure that's going to form. Hopefully that gives me a trading opportunity down low. Patience pays in this game. I can promise you patience pays. Whether it's patience waiting for the trade or whether it's patience after you've opened the trade, patience pays. Nonetheless, I'm bullish on Aussie. Yo, it took such a long time on AUDCAD. I'm going to be a little bit faster with the other pairs. So we're bullish. I'm still bullish on AUDCAD. Obviously, we're looking for continuation from this POI and this POI there, given the reasons that we've spoken about. Let's go on to some Aussie Swiss franc. So Aussie Swiss franc, I think, let me just to be a little bit fast, we'll not talk about what's not relevant. Cool. So we've been using just the most recent structure to make decisions here on Aussie Swiss franc. What we obviously saw was descending structure. Obviously, we wanted to be bullish, but because we saw that price action here is not carrying any momentum, we want to be bullish because it's a descending structure, but price is not giving us reasons to be bullish. So obviously, for those reasons, we were looking for some bearish bias. Price action, the highest area that we wanted to sell was up here, obviously above this level of resistance. The other area, obviously, we were looking to sell intraday from last week was inside of here, and price action just didn't come here on Friday. Just this market, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, it is what it is. Part of this, part of the probabilities. Please don't change your plan to accommodate randomly when price action is just not tapping your areas, because you might find out that your plan is so profitable and you change your plan because market is going through 2 weeks of just doing random nonsense that we don't understand. And then you change your plan, and when price action goes back to the way it used to do things, you're still running at a loss because now you're not doing what you used to do, what used to make you money. So be very slow to change your plans and those types of things. It's not, I don't think this is missing this trade and missing this trade is not necessary for us to then start saying, no, we're going to start doing whatever. I don't think it's necessary. Otherwise, looking at things on Aussie Swiss franc, I think everything's still pretty much the same as last week. But now, obviously, we've got a break of structure to the downside, and then obviously we're looking for the retest to jump in short. This was the highest area where we could have sold, but nonetheless, price action didn't tap into there. Anyway, let's just speak about what's relevant for next week. For next week, obviously, last week we were focused on extreme highs because we had this high and this low. Obviously, extreme resistance and extreme support. Price has been inside of that high and that low ever since. So naturally, so The higher we are towards the high of the range, we want to sell. The lower we are towards the low of the range, we want to buy. So simple enough, things become straightforward. If we don't find any chart patterns that give us trading opportunities, either at the low of this range for buying opportunities or at the high of this range for selling opportunities, we're not going to trade. If you don't see a chart pattern, don't trade. What I can show you guys, we can adjust for the most recent price action. I'm scared of this low here because obviously price action has not closed as yet. But what we're going to do is, yes, let's just adjust so that we understand where we are within the structure. When will a selling opportunity, where do the probabilities for a sell present themselves? When will the probabilities for a buy present themselves? Let's just adjust. So anyway, I'm just going to accommodate for using this support trend line. I'm just going to accommodate for this low over here. Obviously, price action can still, this is not a price didn't stop here. Market is just closed. Monday morning price can just continue to go down. And then we know that, oh crap, we shouldn't have used this low. So that's why I'm feeling like it's a little bit dangerous for me to move my support. But otherwise, in terms of resistance, we can have a clear structure. If you want to sell, where do probabilities align themselves? Isn't it better to wait for a nice third touch that also aligns with this POI that we've been looking to sell last week? You guys see how patience pays. Maybe market is just doing some weird stuff, chopping people up, getting some money before we prepare for the overall momentum. Don't change your plan for anything until you've got enough data to support the fact that your plan or your strategy is not working. Then you change it. Otherwise, in terms of support, if price action comes down to the low of the range or this 90% rule of whatever ascending structure we've got here, then we'll just focus on whatever structures develop. If we find a structure that gives us a reason to buy, then we'll be bullish. For the fact that price action is right now in the middle of this range, we're neither at the high, neither at the low, I'm still not going to have any bias on this pair until we either see a structure like we had here, the ascending structure break and whatever. We had a structure to trade. Until price action either gives us a structure or comes to the high or the low, I'm not going to have any bias on this pair. So we'll leave it with nothing. I don't think it's going to be an important pair for us to look at. Maybe let's just set an alert so that we focus on price action above this high over here and above this resistance up here and below where? Let's just say somewhere below here for buying opportunities. Done and dusted. Unless alerts get triggered on this pair, then there's no reason for us to look at Aussie Swiss franc. Let's go into some AJ. AJ, another. I need to find kind swear words for these pairs, like very kind swear words. I don't want to be vulgar unnecessary. Otherwise, AJ, we were looking to sell AJ. She still played within this. I wonder what Bob was doing. Remember like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I don't even know how many weeks ago, that this Monday here was a reason for us not to trade AJ. Prices still inside of this range, even through last week and even through Friday, we just rejected the low of the range. So I don't know what Bob is doing on this pair. I don't know what Bob is doing on AJ. I don't understand what's going on AJ. But what I'm going to be doing to be safe is I'm not changing anything about my bias. I have an ascending structure. I have this level of structure that price action broke above and broke back below. On a smaller time frame, I have this POI that price action did not come into as yet. The safest thing for me to do if I still want to be a seller is just to exercise patience and wait for price action to come to these areas of value. I can't give a time limit and say when we're going to get a trading opportunity, but patience does pay. Even my heart is sore that these currencies are not really giving me trading opportunities. Like, I want to trade, I want to be active on all these pairs, but I can't force it, because if I force it, I'm going to take losses. I'm going to be trading in an environment that I don't know the probabilities of. I don't know how my system is going to perform. I don't know if I'm going to make money or lose money. I don't want to gamble under those circumstances. So I'm just going to stick to my plan. I'm going to wait. These POIs are still very much valid for me. Maybe the structure or whatever is just useless for us to have at this point, because we can see it looks like some weird stuff is going on there. Maybe if I wanted to be a buyer, yes, I still have a level of structure here that price action broke below, broke back above. We're inside of some sort of a range or whatever. I can still use this as an opportunity to try and look for buying opportunities. But does the higher time frame structure allow me to look for buys? According to what I'm looking for, higher time frame, and the fact that I see resistance breaking whatever small uptrend we had going on there, I see probabilities, or at least risk to reward ratio, looking for sells on AJ. So I'm still going to exercise my patience and wait for those sells, if that's what market is forcing me to do. Just set my alert here. Done and dusted. Let's go on to some AU. Yes, AU. Why do we still have this traumatizing mistrade? Yes. Yeah, AU messed with us. AU messed with us. AU didn't give us the money as well as US30. It's depressing, but it just is what it is. It just is what it is. I take it as just my trading probabilities. Like you see in your back test when you're expecting something to happen and it doesn't happen, you don't know in your back test whether news was the result of that or whether it was just the market. So I just figured that it's just my statistics. Fact that we missed the trade, can't cry over any spilled milk. Nonetheless, the buyers are coming in and we're not in with these buyers. As much as we've been smelling these buyers, we knew something was fishy. Yes, the market is so damn nice. I just love this thing. Gives me so much adrenaline. We knew they were there. We just didn't know when they were going to come into the market. Damn. Anyway, what I want us to do now, guys. Remember this structure that we just left here because obviously price action violated this structure so nastily, but we knew something fishy was going on. We were waiting for these buyers. Let's do this and just pull this line straight through here and consider price. Oh, we faked out of this structure. We broke out of this structure. Obviously, we broke out of a level of structure. What we can do at a future date in time is we can come back to retest the level of structure for upside continuation. I undid. I just want to. There we go. I pulled that line too far back. Anyway, it's a very simple buy. So I'm still bullish on AU. I still want to involve myself in this buying momentum. I want this money. I want this money. I'm not going to be content with AU until I involve myself in an opportunity on AU. Anyway, we'll just keep adjusting for structure, accommodating, trying to make the best decisions that we can with the information that's available to us at the current moment in time. What we have now in AU. So what we were doing last week, obviously to make sense of the information, is we were using this level of structure here as something that we've broken below, broken back above, and obviously there was a nice POI there. We were looking for a retest of that level of structure for upside continuation, or if we didn't get this opportunity here, then there were equal lows and a nice POI here that obviously we were expecting that, okay, price action might want to attack those, and then we'll get the move to the upside. Price did none of that. Because of your guys' favorite CPI stuff. I wish news didn't exist. I wish these things were like boom and crash and those synthetic indices. Damn, they mess with us. But anyway, all we've got now is that now we finally have obviously upside momentum. All we have, okay, we've got obviously a break and a retest. We've got a level of structure over here that we've obviously broken above. We can find a POI on a smaller time frame, but we like to just stick to our POIs on our 4 hour. On our 4 hour for now, there are no POIs, so we have to go down to a 1 hour and see if there is anything. Jesus, there's nothing on a 1 hour as well. And I know we took these from a smaller time frame. I think we took these from a 15-minute. I don't want to go that low now because it's just gonna waste our time. Otherwise, let's just keep things simple. Keep it simple, stupid. You know that saying kiss. All we're gonna do is just wait for a break and a retest. We've got a level of structure over here. Obviously, if we just wait and see price action will always give us the signs. If we are corrective, then we can attack that risk entry and find a POI on a small time frame. If price action comes here impulsively, then we have to wait for a sign of reversal where we want to trade, be it a double bottom, be it a whatever. Doesn't really matter. Inverse head and shoulders. We have to wait for a structure to form. Done and dusted. We'll just look for continuation to the upside. Still bullish, but obviously let's just try and trade somewhere in and around this break and retest area here. Obviously, remember the level of structure that we broke above, broke back below, that stuff. Let's go on to some. Looks like we still have the same. Maybe AJ. Let's do this. I think AJ. I'll take the alert. I mean the tag of AJ. I don't know if AJ is gonna require us to exercise patience, because now we've got to wait for price action to actually come here. Last week when we were looking at price, we were somewhere up here. The potential for us to break these resistance was a lot higher, but obviously now we're back down low. So what I'll do is I'll just remove the tag just so that it's not an important pair on the watch list. But obviously once our alerts get triggered, then we come and look and we see, do we need to change obviously our biases? Do we need to then add it? Do we need to start paying more attention and looking for an entry? all we're doing by this forecast is we're also trying to filter out. We're trying not to trade what we didn't plan to trade. We're trying to we're trying to just be disciplined traders, create a plan, and then obviously stick to that plan. Susian, to think this pair used to be my favorite pair. I used to dream of buying a car and just changing my number plate to CHFJPY. Now, now this pair doesn't give me trading opportunities anymore. Anyway, it just is what it is. So obviously we were looking for downside continuation because we had this ascending structure. We saw a lot of momentum there. We obviously retested some level of structure inside of there, and then we saw some more downside momentum. But obviously now we had that same, remember all the JPY code pairs gave us this Monday nonsense where we had that extreme high and that extreme low, and all these pairs have just been inside of this range that we are scared to trade inside of because Bob is busy inside of here. And I don't understand what Bob is doing because he's not clear. That was a lot of momentum. Like, look at the range of, look at this range that we've been stuck inside the whole weekend. This was in the space of like an hourly candlestick or 15-minute. There was a lot of momentum on a Monday morning. So obviously, I don't know whether I should be looking to trade inside of here. I'm still scared. What I'm going to do is I'm still going to treat this like a range. Obviously, buying probabilities from the low of the range, selling probabilities from the high of the range. Because of the structure is an ascending structure, and I expect an ascending structure to break to the downside, I am going to want to obviously naturally sell. So all I'm going to do is just wait for price action to come to the high of my range. If I don't have a chart pattern, like whatever chart pattern, I'm sure the buyers are excited that they have this chart pattern there for upside. If I don't have a chart pattern that gives me an opportunity to trade at this resistance, then I'm not going to trade at that resistance. So Susian is still not going to be on the watch list for obvious reasons. I'm not even going to set an alert on this pair. We'll just see next week. I don't think she's going to be very exciting. Like, if we want to trade a JPY quote pair, then let's rather wait for AJ's alerts to get triggered because she's so much more beautiful than Susian now. One day, I think maybe at the end of this year, I'm going to remove, there's two pairs that I want to remove from my watch list. Swiss yen and New Zealand dollar yen, because they're not giving me so many, as many trading opportunities as they used to. And yeah, I want action in my life. Let's just go to New Zealand dollar CAD. So New Zealand dollar CAD was making us scared last week. Obviously, we were bearish bias on New Zealand dollar CAD. We've got a purple tag. Reason why we were bearish bias is because, yes, naturally, with descending structure, we wanted to be buyers. But this corrective structure here, obviously, price action wasn't moving to the upside in an impulsive manner. So that obviously was reason for us to be a little bit cautious. We also on a 4-hour had some sort of sideways moving market that was going on there. That also obviously caused us to be a little bit cautious and rather wait for price action to come down, to come a lot lower, and then obviously we'll be involved in buys. So we were looking for a sell last week. Quep markets did its thing and obviously did the total opposite of what we were looking for and decided to just continue to push to the outside. What I am looking at is I'm still not convinced that there are a lot of buyers yet, but on a 4-hour, we can find a safe area to buy. So we can look for a continuation because I still want to buy. Like, I mean, the overall descending structure is screaming for us to buy this descending structure. But let's talk about, okay, we'll see it on a 4-hour. We'll see it on a 4-hour either way. Let's do this, just this nonsense. So we've got this level of structure, obviously, that from a daily, we've broken below this level of structure. We've just broken back above this level of structure. And obviously, naturally, we can look for a retest of that level of structure at a future date in time. Do we have some sort of a momentum shift in and around that area? I see a bullish engulfing for sure. There's a bullish engulfing somewhere inside of this area. This bullish engulfing, obviously, we're in a nice momentum phase. If I were to maybe go back on a daily and just stretch my resistance trend line, this resistance trend line over here, just stretch it over here. Obviously, what we can see on a small or on a smaller time frame, what we can be maybe expecting to trade is some sort of a corrective retest of maybe this resistance trend line or whatever for continuation to the upside. But what I'm looking at is I'm not really looking at the fact that we have that there. More so, I'm looking at my horizontal support and resistance, meaning this level of structure that we've broken below and that we've broken back above, and that we can come back and retest. I do have momentum. So obviously after momentum, I'm expecting a corrective structure of some sort. If I don't find a corrective structure and price comes here fast, then I need to wait for my reversal at this area to take a risk entry. So I am potentially going to be looking for continuation to the upside. But let me throw a wrench in the spanner and just, I wanted it to be a nice plot twist and say, but I am still bearish this week on New Zealand dollar CAD. I am still going to try and hedge some CAD weakness. Now let me show you guys why. Let me show you guys why. Like if we're gonna look to aggressively buy a CAD pair, then let's wait for probabilities over here. Look at how sexy this one looks. Look at where we are higher time frame. She looks so much more beautiful. AUDCAD. AUDCAD and New Zealand dollar CAD are positively correlated, right? So if they're both going to buy because of CAD weakness, then they're both going to buy. So we'll rather buy the other one. So otherwise, what I want to do is I still do see some structure that can warrant us to look for some sell bias trading opportunities. I'm going to be looking to trade that structure. Let me show you guys what that structure is. Cool. So if we look at this structure here on a 4-hour, obviously we've broken above this resistance over here. And then the next high to have been formed after this resistance is this one over here. And then you guys can see we're somewhere at this resistance. We're somewhere at some sort of an area where maybe someone somewhere could just decide to buy for whatever, or I mean to sell for whatever reason. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to accommodate my support trend line there just to accommodate for whatever structure I've got inside of here. Let's just delete this explanation of the bullish move. And let's just delete this nonsense over here and put this over here. Cool. So what I am seeing is, obviously I'm seeing an ascending structure. If I look left also, I know the price action was doing a whole lot of nonsense inside of this area over here. We had a whole corrective structure from somewhere in and around, I don't know, where did the corrective, so yeah, corrective structure started somewhere at this resistance area here, and then obviously stopped somewhere at that support over there. And then we've got another corrective structure that was this range over here. Otherwise, this corrective structure here, maybe we can be expecting that Bob is probably playing inside of this area here. He can play again, but I want to open myself to trade if there is going to be any sell side momentum coming in on these CAD pairs. I'm going to open myself to trading that sell side momentum on New Zealand dollar CAD. So all I'm going to be looking for on New Zealand dollar CAD to be able to trade a selling opportunity is a reduced risk entry. Simple. Price action must just break back below my resistance area and give me a nice retest. That's all I'm asking for. In this move to the downside, obviously the candlesticks that will develop if we do break back below this resistance area. If there is a nice 4-hour POI or 1-hour POI that aligns with this resistance, it just increases my probability of trading a sell at that area or level of structure. So that's kind of the area, the setup that I'm going to look for. I'm still going to try and look to hedge the trading opportunities. I feel like AUDCAD, we also did kind of miss a trading opportunity on AUDCAD, to be a little bit honest with you guys. But it's cool. It's cool. I feel like we've got a good directional bias. Like if these pairs are still going to buy, I feel like AUDCAD is better looking on a higher time frame to continue to look for those buys than New Zealand dollar CAD. So I'm still going to just see what happens. And if we do form a structure, reversal structure, then I will be bearish on New Zealand dollar CAD. So I am still bearish on this pair. Let's just go into New Zealand dollar yen. Yeah. I guess it's obvious that the setup played out. Yeah, hey, sexy looking setup. Otherwise, New Zealand dollar yen has been a little bit scary, obviously because we're inside of a range. It's just been chopping up and down or whatever the case is. But on a 4-hour, we obviously try to trade or use this small ascending structure as part of decision-making process. So obviously first touch, second touch, third touch, downside momentum. So naturally, so I think I still want to be sell biased on this pair. Obviously, where price action is now, we're at the 90% rule, we're at the support. We can't look to continue to sell anywhere inside of here. So what we've got to do is we've got to look for any areas of momentum shift. Do we find any 4-hour areas of momentum shift inside of here? There is one, but it is fairly close to where price action is. This is the only momentum shift that we find over there. Obviously, the only bearish engulfing that we do see nice and clear, the price action hasn't come back to ever since it created, but it's fairly close to where price action is right now. So can I use it? No, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to try and just be a little bit safe. What can I use on the other hand? I can use this structure, this level of structure that we've just broken below. Obviously, we can come back and retest or whatever the case is, and I can still use my extreme highs. So all I'm going to be doing on New Zealand dollar yen is just waiting for a structure to give me an opportunity to sell. Any corrective structure that does terminate as a retest somewhere in and around this area is going to give me an opportunity to at least try and find downside continuation. If there is momentum, somehow we're stuck inside our range for whatever reason that we might not know, then obviously looking for a structure that terminates at the extreme high at this resistance is our next best. Next best bet. The English ran away. That's fine. So New Zealand dollar yen also doesn't look very appetizing. It's kind of New Zealand dollar yen to me feels a little bit like Swiss yen in a sense of, if we want to trade it and trade our higher time frame bias, which is obviously sell bias, then it's going to require some patience from us. Maybe as a buyer, you might have an opportunity because price is at support. I also even saw a nice POI here. Honestly, if my bias was bullish, I would have also looked to try and buy somewhere inside of here. Like I would have expected maybe price action would be creating something inside of here. And if we do terminate with some sort of a third touch inside of this area here, I would be looking for upside if my bias was bullish. But my higher time frame bias is not bullish. So I think for New Zealand dollar CAD, I think I'll also just remove it off the watch list. So far, we've only got 3 pairs that are going to kind of be a little bit hot for us next week. Let's just look at US30. We've got like 6 minutes left. Another missed opportunity on US30 that we don't want to see, because this is a lot of money. This was a lot of free money in 5 minutes. Yo. Yeah, hey, I would have had a big hit. I would have had confidence level 6,000 after that trade. No jokes. I would have seriously had confidence level 2 million. Maybe that's why market didn't come for me. Market was protecting me against myself. Otherwise, price action is moving to the upside. Higher time frame structure, we've been using this sort of expanding descending structure for a while now. You can see that we've broken out of this expanding descending structure. I don't think I'm going to delete it because it might still be relevant for us to find continuation for upside momentum. What I do want to remove and just adjust for is I just want us to concentrate on this extreme high. Obviously, yes, we can look for that upside. Wait, let's just delete all this nonsense inside of here just so that we can breathe. Yo, I was even choking my words. Yes, this looks nasty. Is this even a structure that we can use? Let's just follow price action and see if that structure is relevant for us to use. We had this low after this high. After this low, where's the next high that we have? Is this high. After that high, we have this low. After this low, we have price action here. So these are the 2 extreme highs. So it's the only structure that we can use as a resistance. Cool. It is what it is. This is the structure that market is giving us to look at. Then this is the structure that we're going to trade. So obviously, I do want to jump into some upside continuation. If price action ever does give us an opportunity for upside continuation, but naturally so, remember, we've got horizontal resistance. We also have dynamic resistance in this area. So the closer we get here, the less I want to be a buyer. The closer I am to my supports, let's move this. Don't confuse yourself with this level of resistance, because I think it's going to be a little bit confusing. Let's not confuse ourselves with that level of resistance. And price action is still quite close to this structure here. Damn. So what it looks like, obviously, the safest thing for us to do is to look for a nice retest of a level of structure. In terms of horizontal support and resistance, I would use this horizontal support for us to obviously find upside continuation. But obviously, we are in an uptrend. And if we do get a structure like some sort of a corrective structure that gives us maybe a third touch at this dynamic support, this is still a support trend line. And at support, I still want to be a buyer. then that's where I'm going to be looking for my upside continuation. The closer I get here, the less I'm going to look to continue to buy, because we might get caught in a reversal structure. I don't know. But obviously we'll wait and see if price action does warrant us maybe to change our bias and we start to form some sort of a reversal to the downside. Then I'll be game for that. I'm game both directions on US30. To buy, to sell, I'm in. So otherwise, my bias is bullish for now because we are still stuck inside of this ascending structure. As long as we're inside of this ascending structure, if we're at support inside of this ascending structure, let's just look to continue to buy upside continuation. Once we get towards extreme resistance, either this resistance trend line or this horizontal resistance here, it's obviously the last extreme the last area where we saw a bunch of sellers coming into the market that were able to break some support. Or did they break support? I don't know. Let's just double check. Is my network messing with me now? Come on, charts. What's going on? This is so cool. Guys, I do apologize. I'm not sure how long I was gone for. I'm not sure how long I was gone for, but I just realized now that Zoom did cut me off. Just yeah, I think we were done anyway. We were done anyway. Basically, we're looking to buy any upside continuation, and obviously we're gonna look to sell if we do get a structure that gives us an opportunity to sell at this resistance. So I'm still bullish on US30. I'm 100% done, guys. I'm 100% done. Let there be peace in the streets. Let our brothers and sisters be safe. Away.